right. Thank you, honey.
Good luck.
Thanks for hanging out with me today. You can now stream our Beauty Aside podcast wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And today we're talking about eye area mistakes that age you. It's very common to be making these mistakes. It's more common than you think, but when you start to make some of these adjustments in your eye care routine, I promise you, not only will you have a better experience with your skin, eye health, your makeup routine, your makeup application will look better, your lashes will thrive, and yes, even your brows. We're streaming this live here on TikTok today, as well as recording this Beauty Aside podcast episode for our YouTube channel. What you do in your beauty routine regarding eye hygiene really matters. So what are those things that you can do? You can choose to use something like a balm, okay, that's really wonderful at removing eye makeup. You can choose to use an eye cleanser that is oil-based. There are so many affordable oil-based cleansing balms and oils these days. Just use whatever feels the best that fits within your budget. Those are really great for removing a lot of eye makeup, okay? Now, even micellar water, it gets a little confusing because some people think that because it has the word water in it, that it's just water. It's actually oil suspended in water, okay? So that also is going to be a first step. This eye area is literally the most delicate, thin tissue on your entire body. So we need to make sure that we're using very gentle products on the eye area, okay? So your second cleanse can look something like a gentle cleanser. There's lots of popular affordable brands. You can use it around your eyes. And this is the thing. Some people will say, oh, I use the soap around my eyes and I can't use it because it makes my eyes sting. Regardless of what type of cleanser you're using around your eyes, the goal is always to cleanse around your eye area without getting the cleanser in your eyes, because more than likely, regardless of what type of cleanser it is, it's going to sting. Now, if you are like me and you're prone to maybe eye infections, I've been using eyelid cleansing remover pads for years and years and recommending them to my clients as a licensed esthetician. So this is just something that I feel comfortable with because I'm one of those people that would rather prevent something than have to try to correct it. And this is just really wonderful at a proper eyelid cleanser at removing all of the dirt and debris. This also has a leave-on formula that you can get a hold of. If that's more convenient for you, I totally hear you on that. Now, if you are traveling, let's say you're on the go, you might want an eye makeup remover pad. In that case, you can use a formula that's a no rinse formula. And, ideally, I would say use this as a second step in your eye cleansing routine. But if you're on the go, or especially if you don't wear a lot of eye makeup, maybe you just wear something really light, this may do the trick. And if you just feel more comfortable, you can always rinse your eyes with warm water afterwards. If you have sensitive eyes like I do, I have chronic dry eyes, I use a lot of eye drops. So if you wake up with dry eyes, or if you use a lot of eye drops and you feel like you have kind of like the nasty, crusty stuff around your eyes in the morning, I personally like to rinse my skin with warm water in the morning. I've already done a double cleanse on my skin and my eyes, okay, at night. So unless you're waking up and your skin is super oily, which usually isn't the case whenever you exceed the 40s and beyond, it's usually not the case. So whether, unless that is you, or you're, I do sleep, sorry, I have a little Yorkie, she sleeps by me, but, we try to keep the dirt off the bed. We wash the pillowcases and the blankets, everything once a week, which also is a good eye hygiene practice. But unless you're sleeping with an animal to where, maybe you get pet dander on your face and you feel like you need a little gentle cleanser in the morning, my goodness, do whatever suits you. I did it for years. It definitely didn't hurt my skin, but I noticed when I started just rinsing with warm water that my skin actually started having better results, because as you age, you lose moisture. It is a fact. This is not up for debate. We lose moisture. We lose the hyaluronic acid that our body normally produces. We all know that we're losing the collagen because it starts to be produced less and less. All the things, our oil production that we naturally have starts to slow down. So when you take all of that into consideration after 40, rinsing with warm water in the morning is just fine. Now, what I like to do, if you want to take it a step further, this is totally optional. I like to rinse with filtered water. So, whether you have a Brita filtered water or you have a tank or whatever you have, if you can get away from using some of those harder minerals, some people just do better with that, such as myself. If you feel like, you're rinsing in the morning with water, whether you're using soap or not, and your skin is feeling a little dry, maybe it's time to just try using that filtered water in the morning and seeing if that makes a difference for you. I know that definitely makes a difference for me. And side note, if you are sleeping with wet hair, I've been guilty of it in the past. I definitely want you to stop. Anything that is wet that we leave on our scalp overnight can create more probabilities for the bad bacteria growth that we don't want. Now, we talk a lot about hyperpigmentation in skincare because it's very common as we age. And even around the eye area, whenever you have hyperpigmentation, it is so hard to treat. Why? Because it's backed up to your eyeball, and you can't just put any acids or retinol like right here up to your eyeball, right? In that case, you're probably going to be left with just using some makeup around your eye area to cover it up. But how do we prevent getting there from the beginning? For me, I didn't realize all of those years of rubbing my eyes that it could actually cause hyperpigmentation as well. And now I have some permanent hyperpigmentation right here. Anything that you're doing repetitively around the eye area can cause wrinkles, truly, impression lines, if you will. So if we are sleeping a certain type of way where we're pulling on the skin, that can lead to wrinkles as a consequence. Now, we all know that wrinkles, 50% or more, are genetic, but the good news is that 50% or even more, we're going to go on over 100% here, has to do with your lifestyle. There's something called epigenetics. So you can actually influence the cells of your skin by practices that you do every day, such as the ones that we are mentioning today. Underneath lifestyle falls things like sleep, which is really hard for me a lot of the time, especially if you are in perimenopause or menopause, things like that, which is really common in our 40s and beyond, having those sleep disruptions. I have done segments on sleep, so I'm not going to go into sleep in depth right now. If you want to hear more about that and the practices that I use regularly that help me with sleep, let me know, and I'll make it a point to give you more of that. But I have videos where I give you very specific tips on what I use throughout the evening to aid me in sleep. More recently, I will tell you, I've actually been using these meditative tracks that I found. It's kind of like training your brain to think in certain waves, if you will, that help you relax into the night. So I have tried everything, and I think that is actually being very effective. If we're dehydrated, especially if we're dry, boy, are those wrinkles / eye wrinkles going to show up on your skin because they are going to become more visible. So, pros and cons, right, of having dry skin versus oily skin. You have oily skin, you have sort of this natural preservation system. You have dry skin, you're going to see wrinkles. There's no perfect world in which we live in. There is only that strive for balance, and in most cases balance is just really freaking hard, especially if you're a woman and you throw in hormones. It's like, forget about it. Just do the best you can with all of this information. Just do the best that you can. Some nights you're not going to sleep. I've accepted this. I literally have had to come to some sort of peace with that. Some nights are just not gonna be it for me. So I just do my best to practice those morning, affirmations that may sound woo-woo, but anything that can get me into a better headspace. Moving into the day, I know that stress shows up on your skin more than anything else. So any practices that you can do, such as movement, walking, things like that, will definitely affect the health of your skin and, yes, your eye health. Let's talk about fresh oxygen. There is this misunderstanding that if you remove all of your makeup, your skin all of a sudden can breathe. And I'm here to tell you that your skin doesn't need the removal of makeup to be able to breathe. What it needs is fresh oxygen. And the way that you get that fresh oxygen up to your skin is literally through movement, right? So the first video I ever made on TikTok in my entire life, if you can scroll back that long ago, because it was a long time ago, but it was a fun video, and I'm dancing and I'm bending upside down and I'm talking about natural free ways to improve the appearance of your eyes, such as dark circles and puffiness. And movement was one of my tips. And that is why, because when that blood rushes to your head, right? I don't want anyone to hurt themselves here, okay? This is not medical advice. But, i.e., say you're doing a yoga move, or you're doing stretches, or you're jumping on a rebounder. I need to do a whole video about rebounding because I'm totally in love with rebounding. If you've done rebounding, let me know, because it is so fun and it is so healthy for you in so many different ways. But I don't want to get too off track here. Walking is so simple and it's free. You can go right outside of your door and just do it. Start off with walking for literally 5 minutes a day. Heck, do 2 minutes, whatever will get you out the door. 1 lap. Say I'm going to do 1 lap, whatever that is today. And I promise you that when you set tiny little goals, they usually start expanding as you build up your tolerance and your confidence. So that's one little tiny tip. And yes, it affects your eye health. It affects the quality of your skin. It affects your stress level, which affects your skin. If I could do a video on the one secret thing that will solve all of your problems, I would have a viral video again tomorrow. But I'm here to tell you, as your licensed esthetician, the truth of it is it's that the sum of everything that you do, and that's what gives you those results, right? It's removing the eye makeup and your regular makeup 2 hours before bed, because you might get tired or lazy and not do it properly if you wait until you get tired. It is just doing those small little tiny steps. Okay, so you can't apply 3 things. Apply 1 thing tonight, okay? That will make you feel better whenever you wake up in the morning. Maybe apply 1 thing during the day. If you can't commit to 3 different products, choose a product, a good moisturizer that already has sunscreen in it, so at least you are hydrated and protected. Now, let's talk about something that I hear all the time, and that is milia, those tiny little cyst-like bumps underneath your eye area. What the heck can you do about them? Okay, now there is a misnomer that milia has something to do with like bad eye hygiene. Now, most certainly any cyst-like bumps underneath your eyes that aren't life-threatening, that are just a product of you not taking good care of your skin, most certainly it can be exacerbated by that. You use products or you don't clean well, and it clogs your pores. Yes, most certainly milia can be exacerbated by that. But there are also other conditions underneath the eyes that have to do with the sweat glands that are not milia. But this is the thing, it doesn't really matter unless it's something that the dermatologist says, this is what this is different than most common under the eye area bumps, and this is what you need to do. Unless that's the case, or it's something life-threatening or weird that you definitely want to go get checked out by a dermatologist, the majority of those little under eye bumps are not life-threatening, and they can all be treated similarly. So even if you're not sure what it is, if you are sure, if you've already been to the dermatologist, you know that there's no threat of anything that you should be worried about, and it just seems like maybe some clogged pores, or maybe it's gotten worse with age, or maybe you work in an environment where you sweat a lot, maybe you go to the gym and sweat a lot, maybe you work outside, maybe you just sweat a lot, whatever the case is, you wake up in the middle of the night with hot flashes. Whatever the case is, you get those little tiny bumps. One of the common things that you can do is to use, yes, it's in the retinoid family, but it's no longer, I should say, prescription. It is in the retinoid family. It's called adapalene. That is a proper name, but the brand name that is most common that I would feel good about recommending is called Differin. It used to be prescription only, and now it is actually over the counter for around $20. You can pick it up online or your local grocery store. If you only take one thing away from today's episode, I want that to be that healthy eyes, healthy lashes, healthy brows, all of that starts with healthy eyelids, how you treat your eyes, okay? And we've talked about all the ways that you can get there. Do you have to do everything at once? No, but maybe this is just a gentle reminder next time you are rubbing your eyes, or next time you go to clean your eyes, or next time you go to wear, a bunch of eye makeup that might be a little drying and accentuate those fine lines and wrinkles. Maybe it will just be a gentle reminder of, hey, I can kind of tweak things, do things a little bit differently, and yield some really fantastic results. And by the way, most of these tips are free because you already have what you're using. It's just sometimes we need to adjust the way that we're actually using these products and maybe adjust some things in our routine, like removing the makeup a couple hours before bedtime. And sometimes that's all we need to give us those fantastic results. I'm going to leave you with a makeup bonus tip for today that has to do with the eye area. It is one of my favorite all-time beauty hacks. Have you ever noticed that most things in life that are just so wonderful are simple? If you have a favorite eye balm, and I'm gonna say eye balm specifically because sometimes if you have an eye cream, there's so many different variations of consistencies with your eye products. Come in all different shapes and sizes, but if it says eye balm particularly, it might be a good fit for this. I particularly use one, it's called On The Go Eye Balm, and you can use it before or after makeup, which is one reason I like it so much, but it uses glycerin, and glycerin is a really fantastic ingredient if you're looking for an eye balm that helps keep the eyes really moist and hydrated because it's a really easy humectant that a lot of people can tolerate very well. That is just, it's very reliable. It's a very reliable humectant. So I love glycerin. So look for an eye balm with glycerin and other anti-aging ingredients in it, if you will. And you just want to press a little bit of it over your eye makeup. So if you have a concealer, whatever it is that you're using underneath your eyes to conceal the darkness, you just press a little bit of it over your eye makeup. And believe it or not, whenever I have started doing this, and I live here in Austin, Texas, which is extremely humid, so I just have to throw that out. It's extremely humid. So for me, if I am telling you this, it is like, it's the real deal. I have to use a setting spray, and I like to pat the setting spray over my eyes. But since using the eye balm and pressing it over my eye makeup, it has not only prevented caking and creasing, but I forget to wear my setting spray. So that's how great of a little eye hack this is. I hope that this was helpful for you today. I hope of all of this information was easily digestible. I love to break everything down, but also explain everything so you understand why we're doing the things that we do. Because I find that when I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, it gives me more purpose. It makes me understand that these things are important. When I know the why, right? It's like knowing the why about anything else that you do in life. I think skincare and beauty is the same, because without the why, we're just looking for the latest and greatest, sexy as this product and that product, and we're product hopping and we're wasting money. And after 40, it's like, ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I mean? What you used to do in your 20s is often not going to serve you in your 40s. I say that a lot because I really do believe that in my heart of hearts that is true. I know what I did in my 20s isn't going to serve me well. Heck, in my 20s, I was forgetting to wear sunscreen. Definitely not doing that now. Definitely not doing that now, because I know that melanin production, goes right up to the surface of the skin, brings that hyperpigmentation back. It's so much more visible. Why did I spend all this time correcting and protecting my skin, or correcting my skin, I should say, if I'm not going to protect it? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something, right? Like, you should never just rely on your makeup as your SPF. That is an example. That is true. Sorry to say it, if you use makeup that has a high SPF, I think that's fantastic. I think it's an extra measure in protecting your skin, but never under any circumstance should you only be using your makeup as your sunscreen, okay? It should be an additional measure. You will never coat your skin cells evenly the way you should with that makeup, the same way that you will with the proper SPF. So that is the bonus tip I'm gonna leave you with. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and make sure and set that notification bell. And remember, the more you know, the more you glow. Ciao for now.